Hi everybody! Me and Sophie here to do a little Mommy Reads BookTube video. I was watching BookTuber Books and Lala. Just wait, sit down. And she did the childhood book tag, and her son answered these questions, and I could do it with all three of my kids, but I feel like Sophie's the oldest and she does the most reading and is able to read on her own, so I just, for the sake of the chaos that having three kids trying to answer these questions would bring, we're just gonna do one kid today. So you say hi. So these questions, which I'll post under my vlog as well. Is there a book that you didn't like the first time but ended up enjoying during a second read? Is there any books that you've read more than once?
I read.
She's just getting into chapter books now.
Kitty, School Days.
But is there one that you didn't like the first time you read it? I feel like if I don't like a book the first time, then why would I reread it?
No clue.
Do you want me to go on to the second question?
I don't know. I haven't not liked any books.
She likes everything she reads. It's perfect.
Cause I know what I like. I know what it's just what I like, and no, I don't like what I read.
And I find too, like, some of the books, like, we're picking up lots of books from the library and stuff like that, and then if she doesn't seem interested in it, we just don't keep up with it at this time, and we just move on to something that she is interested in. Do you still have any books from your childhood? If so, what are they? And if not, do you wish you'd kept any of them? So that's a question more for me than for Sophie, as we still have pretty much all of her books. I went and bought Love You Forever and books like that, like, after I started having kids, but I don't really have much from my childhood that was saved. I have, like, a teddy bear. I have two teddy bears. One was, like, a teddy bear that I think a friend of mine gave me or something that I just absolutely loved. And then I have another teddy bear that was from when my grandma was in the hospital. My mom bought that from, like, the gift shop. I have that. This is just from a couple years ago. My husband bought me this. That's Jack. But I don't have a lot of stuff left over from my childhood. We moved around a lot and lost a lot of stuff along the way. But I can't think of any books. I know I had the Peter Rabbit books. I don't have those anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Those would have been nice. They were, like, I think, collector's editions. One book that I read as a preteen, teenager, that I don't know if this is the copy of the book or not, or if I've bought it again. But that's Summer Sisters by Judy Blume. So that's a book that I may or may not have had. Okay, put it down and come here. Come here. She's eating. She's snacking. So, no, I can't think of any books that are directly that I had from childhood. Were there popular books or book series you never read or got into as a kid? Can you think of any books that are popular right now? Sophie's gonna be 8 in January, so just a little under 2 months from her birthday. So just so you know the age range, grade 3, 8 years old. Is there any book series that are really popular that you don't read? I don't know what they're watching out there, but we've told them 3 times to turn it down.
Daddy, turn it down.
I've never read a single Harry Potter book. I know, right?
Me neither.
I watched the first couple movies, but it was just never anything I was interested in. And there's a few things in it that kind of, like, creep me out. So, like, as they were coming out when I was a little bit younger, so I didn't like them. Like, wasn't interested in watching them. I only watched them because my friend wanted to go see them. But I never read Harry Potter. I don't think I read a lot of The Babysitter's Club. Maybe some. I think this is, like, the only Judy Blume book I've ever read, surprisingly. I think I read some Goosebumps, which is funny because I'm talking about how I don't like Harry Potter. Like, some stuff in Harry Potter scared me, but I did watch Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps as a kid. So I think I did read a few of their books.
My friend Patrick today, he had a book called Goosebumps. Snappy's Ghost, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't read the Goosebumps books right now. So, like, those are, like, still popular.
I haven't read a single one. They look scary.
I'm trying to think of what else was popular. I didn't read any of those books.
I think I've seen something like Snappy in part of a movie from, like, in,
What's that detective, the girl detective book? I never read those either. I didn't read a lot as a kid, as I read now. I can't remember her name for some reason.
My sister's doing my...
Oh yeah, she's doing like math stuff.
Math.
What did you mostly read? Fiction, nonfiction, comics, or manga? Has that changed as you've gotten older? Well, Sophie used to read picture books as a kid, and now she's getting into chapter books. So, as a kid, as in like a toddler, she's still a kid. But what do you like to read? True stories or made-up stories? Like fantasy? She's really into dragons right now, so the fantasy genre, I guess. I would say that my reading tastes have pretty much kind of stayed the same. I've always been more into... I read more nonfiction now than when I was a kid, but it's... Yeah, that's what we're reading right now, is Dragon Masters.
Yay. I read like...
I didn't really read a lot of comics besides maybe Archie comics.
Ooh.
But I've never really read a lot of manga. I don't think I've ever read through a full manga. I've read graphic novels as an adult, but not really manga.
I chose this because it's near Christmas and...
What's it called?
Santa Paws.
Santa Paws what?
Ski Patrol.
No.
Saves the day.
Where did you get that from?
Edmonton. Value Village, I think the store was.
That's not the one that we bought from Scholastic? Is that the one we bought from Value Village?
Yeah, we bought this from Value Village, remember?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I remember getting it from Value Village.
I thought we bought one at Scholastic, but maybe not that book. So yeah, a lot of fiction books that I read as a kid, I read now. I read a lot of like thriller, suspense, murder mystery, detective stories.
No pictures in this book.
So I didn't really read those as a kid. As a young kid, maybe more as like older teen. What were some of the popular books when you were a child in your country? I think living in Canada, it would have been the same, like the States and Canada. Like I said, so like Goosebumps, all those. I don't think there was anything specific to our country that I can think of that would have been a popular book. Or even now, I can't think of like a Canadian specific. TV maybe, but not books. You guys missed out on things like Mr. Dress Up and the Green Friendly Giant and stuff like that. Do you have any reading habits you've carried into your teenage or adult life? For example, mouthing the words, reading one or multiple books at a time, dog-earing a book, reading without music, etc. So I try to read with as few distractions as possible, which is hard when I gave birth to 3 very distracting things. That was Valentine's Day. Push the button on it. As you can see, distracting. I can't even do a short video. Came with a coffee mug that says the same thing. I do read more than one book at a time, usually, especially if I'm reading something like nonfiction. I'll have a fiction book going at the same time. I've read a few fiction books together at the same time. It can be a little bit confusing, especially if it's the same genre. But I'm trying to think of like what my habits were as a kid. I can't think of. I try to use bookmarks.
We always watch this video, Mommy. It's our favorite.
I always try I've always tried to use bookmarks. I try not to like dog ear the books. I highlight in some books, especially like nonfiction books. I will highlight now, which I would have never done as a kid. Yeah, I can't think of any habits that I carried on. I try to mouth the words sometimes when there are distractions going on, like the kids are watching something or there's like some music, like I'm at the doctor's office or something like that, and I can't just have silent. I will like mouth the words to myself if I'm having trouble concentrating, but I don't know, I probably did that as a kid, I imagine.
She's on the computer.
I'm on the computer reading the questions. How would you decide what to read? Do you choose a book based on the cover, the synopsis, or both? So how do you decide what you want to read next? Sophie's showing Ryan Higa. He's super famous YouTuber.
Very funny video.
Very funny videos. And he wrote a book called How to Write Good. So.
No. Well, how to write well. Because it shows an X and it writes.
Yes, how to write good. Crossed out well. How do you decide what book you want to read? What makes you pick a book off the shelf?
Like, depends on the cover, and it depends if I read something like it. Like, if I read something it said like Santa Paws, and I read something like Santa Claus, I'm like, I might like this, but it's different.
And you like puppies?
And I love puppies. And I love dragons, so I decided this Dragon Master's one.
I thought you had a different dragon one out. Where did it go? Oh, you didn't grab it. Ryan had it.
I can grab it.
For me, like, I can be attracted to a cover, obviously, but I read the synopsis and it has to be something that I'm interested in, that just like catches my attention. So yeah, it's more, I don't base it off the cover necessarily, but just if it's got a plot. I don't like to read too much, like the back, read the whole story kind of thing of what it's about. I just want like a general idea.
I'm here!
The synopsis. She's back. That was not the book I was talking about, but this is Dragon Masters. So Sophie's we are in Dragon Masters Rise of the Earth Dragon. So that's number 1.
I've got up to check.
And then, well, you shouldn't be reading ahead, you silly. And then this is Dragon Masters number 3, so we have to get number 2, obviously. But, so Sophie's picking these books. Well, actually, I picked this book out of one of those libraries that you see, like, around town sometimes. That's, like, a free library, and you take a book, leave a book. So I found this, and she's really interested in dragons right now, like I said. So I found this one, and it happened to be the first one, so I grabbed it, and then her teacher gave her this one. So I need to look at getting number 2, but I was like, well, let's read the first one and see if you like it first. And then she's also reading, she likes the Owl Diaries, which are really good because she's really, like, she is good at reading and keeping up things, like, understanding and comprehension for her level. But what I like about the Owl Diaries is it's not just, like, this, like, this one's got no pictures, like she said, it's just a chapter book, where the dragon one is really short chapters and does have pictures. But this one's written, it's kind of like between a novel and a, like a graphic novel and a chapter book, and it's Owl Diaries, so it's her diary, right? But I kind of like it because then it's a little bit easier to digest and understand what's going on. I bought Yasmin the Fashionista for Maya's birthday, and then I got Snow White and the 7 Robots. These are Twisted Fairy Tales I got from Scholastic, so I wanted to try something a little bit different with them, not just like the classic fairy tales, I guess.
I like this one. It tells the same story, except with robots
instead of
and she
dwarves.
Doesn't wear a robe.
She doesn't wear her robe. Books that are popular right now, like we were talking about books that are popular that you don't read, but some that are popular that we are reading is Bad Kitty, which I always want to call Hello Kitty because Maya loves Hello Kitty, and we actually do have some Hello Kitty books. But so Bad Kitty is fun.
You have so many of them.
Yeah, we bought, there's like a package of 6 of them. I guess, on the
We
back.
have
And then we have
mostly soft cover, then we have this
one hardcover. The reason why I actually bought the Hello Kitty books is because my mother-in-law grabbed one for, it's for like a younger, like 5 and under, 5, 6. It's like an alphabet one, and it goes through the alphabet and several different times. And it's like, oh no, we ran out of food for bad kitty, so now all we have are these healthy things like asparagus and Brussels sprouts and cabbage. And he's like, ew, gross. And then they're like, oh, we got all these delicious things like insect ice cream and buffalo burgers and things like that. So it goes through the alphabet a few times. And the kids just loved it and wanted to read it over and over and over again. So now as the girls are getting a little bit older and stuff, and even our son will sit and read with us for a little bit. He's got a very short attention span, but what are you doing? So we decided to get more of the chapter book version of it. And then a popular series right now is Dogman, which we haven't got into the Captain Underpants books, but they watch the movie and the Netflix series all the time. But the Dogman, I don't even know why I started buying the Dogman books. I bought the first 3 as a package, and then there's been 4 more since then. There's one that's on like pre-order.
This one's the newest.
This is, yeah, for Whom the Ball Rolls is the newest one. But I think there's another one coming up right away. And I was like, man, this Dave Pilkey guy must just make tons of money because he's got Dogman. He has Captain Underpants, which has a TV show and a movie and tons of books. And he's got another book that I think is for a younger audience. Like, this guy's crazy and makes tons of books. And then one other book that we talked about as a kid that I talk about in my other video, but I just wanted to show I have it, Where the Red Fern Grows. This is a book that I read in grade 7, so I was about 12 years old. And this is not the book I had in grade 7. That was a school copy of it anyways. But this is one that my husband bought me a few years ago as a gift along with the movie. What do you want to say? Quick. We got one more question left.
So...
It's like a 20-minute video already.
This morning at school, I was at the library. And... my library teacher, she was reading Stinky Breath.
Yeah?
And it's also from the same author of Captain Underpants and Dogman.
Yeah?
The same
He's got so many books.
author.
Yeah?
It's crazy. He has so many books.
Okay, we got one more question. You ready to answer it?
Yeah.
Where would you normally get books from? Your library, yard sales, secondhand bookstores? Where do you get books from to read?
From the library mostly, and...
So you go to the school library, and we have the public library here that we're at all the time.
I have archery at the shell place.
Doing archery tag. So we go to the library a lot.
And Maya has art. My brother does this dino class.
Yeah, that's over now. And Scholastic, because they're in school, so we get Scholastic sent home, like, to buy the little magazine things. And then Scholastic, the book fair, obviously. I talked in my other video about how I went and got books from a garage sale, like a yard sale, when 16 years ago. And that's really what got me into reading. So if I see a garage sale and I see books put out, I will go look. I just bought 7 books from my local library for $2.75. A bunch of 5 Karen Slaughter, like old Karen Slaughter books. I've never read anything that she's written before, but I hear a lot of good things from her newer stuff on BookTube, so hopefully that's good. Hopefully I like her because I bought 5 books. And then a hardcover book and another kind of like a murder mystery book. I don't remember what it's called. That's also from Scholastic that I bought because I thought it was cute. I shop a lot at Chapters and collect their points.
Read. It's simple read. It's easy to read.
So I buy a lot from Chapters. I've learned about Book Outlet, so thanks for that. Now I got another place, but like I bought 7 books from there for like $45. Value Village, Goodwill, any kind of like thrift store, things like that. That's my pile of laundry that I'm hiding from the camera. So anyways, I'll buy books from pretty much anywhere. So this was fun. This okay, hold on. This childhood book tag, Books and Lala put out there that if we had kids and we wanted to do it, we could. So this is my video with Sophie, and she wants me to show the dog. Come here, Maribel. Oh, I hurt her when I picked her up. This is the dog. Maribel doesn't read anything, but hi, sweetie. She's old and won't jump up.
10.
She's 11.
11.
No, she's
almost 12.
No, she turned 11 in August. Anyways, thanks for watching.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more Mommy Reads moments. Anything else you want to say?
Subscribe.
Don't forget to like, thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.